Hi, welcome to our podcast, Just One More Page.
Where it's never just one more page.
Hi guys, welcome to Just One More Page. My name is Morgan.
I'm Sam.
And today we have a special guest.
I'm Trina.
Yeah. You're actually our first guest ever.
Oh, I feel so special.
We thought it'd be perfect because it's spooky season and you have an amazing TikTok in which you post very spooky books.
Yes, it's my fave.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been stalking your TikTok. Like I've watched your TikToks and I was like, she seems so cool. And I literally cannot read those books though, because I'm such a scaredy cat.
You should have been on the conversation when we were trying to pick who we wanted to invite onto the podcast. And she was like, I really like this person. I've cracked the spine and I want to talk to her and ask her if she'll come on the podcast, but I'm not sure. It was like a 10 o'clock conversation. And we were screaming because we were like, oh my God, we're about to talk to other people. And I was like, just do it. The worst she's going to say is no.
I know. I opened the message and I was like, oh my God, I want to do it, but I'm scared.
We were more scared. I think I got your message while I was at work and I literally screamed. I was like, customers, go away. I will not talk to you right now. Let me run to the back. I'm doing the best job I can do. Not doing my job. Oh my God. I'm really excited though. I think this episode is going to be super fun. It's in time for spooky season. So I'm really excited about it. But you actually chose the book for us to read.
Yes.
Do you want to tell our viewers, our listeners what the book's about?
So I chose Horror Hotel. It's YA horror, so it's just dipping your toes into the horror genre. No, nothing too spooky, but it's basically about 4 friends who have a YouTube channel and they go ghost hunting. They go to haunted locations and record themselves. And it's Halloween weekend, which I figured was perfect for when this is coming out as well. And they're going to the Hearst Hotel in downtown LA. And yeah, they just have a very, very crazy night. I loved it because it never let up. There was just stuff that just kept happening. I just kept turning the page. I didn't want to put it down.
I don't know about you, Sam. I couldn't put down the book. I think I read it in one sitting. What do you say? How long did it take you?
About 2 days, but I started it while I was working. So I had to break up the reading time. But I think overall it probably took me 3 or 4 hours to get through.
Yeah. The fact that it's a little bit based on stuff that's actually happened before.
Oh yeah.
And is based on the Cecil Hotel. I don't think I would ever want to stay there. No, thank you.
Right.
But because sometimes writers, when they write stuff for YouTube or these casts is teenagers and they use social media, sometimes the writers date themselves and they'll talk about stuff that don't make any sense. But I was surprisingly really happy because I felt like this book was very, I guess, correct about the things they said.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm a teenager, so it definitely didn't feel like it was being forced. And I've definitely read some YA books and I'm like, teenagers don't talk like that. But this book was pretty on point, I think.
I feel the same way. I absolutely love the cast and the diversity and the spookiness. And I am so happy you chose this book because I don't like spooky stuff. I'm okay, no, I like spooky stuff, but my brain does not like spooky stuff.
Right.
So I watched The Ring when I was 12 years old and I stayed up for 3 days straight. So I cannot do it.
Yeah, I can definitely say I'm a visual reader. When I read, I can see what's kind of going on in my brain a little bit. It's like a movie that plays in my brain. And some of the scenes in this book, I was just oh my God, no.
I'm definitely the same way, but I'm paranormal obsessed. I've gone on a few overnight ghost hunts myself. So I loved that aspect of this book and I love true crime. So it was kind of everything I love wrapped up into one book, which was awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. I want to ask you, where did you go? Did you see any ghosts? I'm very interested now.
Well, we've only been to 2 because I don't have anybody that's into it like I am. So I just drag my husband along and he's a skeptic, but he's a good sport. So he just comes with me. But we went to the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky. And then we went to Ohio State Reformatory in Ohio. So it was a prison. At the prison in Ohio, I really didn't have anything happen there, but at Waverly, we did have a couple experiences. Either way, though, it was super spooky, walking through a prison at midnight, so.
Should tell about Emily's Bridge.
Oh yeah. Back where we're both from, we're from Vermont. There's a bridge called Emily's Bridge and there's a long lore about it, but basically a girl kills herself after her fiance or her lover doesn't show up to run away with her. And there's been spookiness stuff there and people have has gotten their car scratches, thumb scratch. It's spooky. I don't mind spooky stuff. Like I don't mind going to like a haunted house. Like my house was kind of haunted growing up, but like reading stuff, that's a no-go for me. I'm a very sarcastic person, so I'll be very sarcastic to the ghosts and like because that's how I use my humor.
Yeah.
So I can like joke around with a real life ghost, but when I'm reading a ghost, no, thank you.
Oh, I'm proud of you for finishing this book, Morgan.
Well, this book I feel like wasn't that like I wasn't traumatized.
Yeah.
It was just the right amount of spooky, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't horrible.
No.
It wasn't a very long book, so there's not much to like talk about pre-spoilers.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess we'll go right into our spoiler section. If you haven't read this book and you still want to check it out, please go check it out. And then, yeah, let's go into our spoiler section.
So if y'all have gotten this far and you haven't read the book, you did it to yourself. I'm sorry. You can't yell at us for spoiling.
Damn, Sam. You're so honest.
I just don't like when people were like, oh, there was no spoiler warning. There was a spoiler warning.
You have your warning.
Yes.
Exactly. First off, I love the fact that they based this off of Elisa Lam, which is like a case that really spooks me in some ways. But I also like the fact that it didn't feel like a fan fiction. Like it didn't feel like it was completely
It was
thing.
a little bit of the truth, but more, made up. It was just enough to where, it's not a fan fiction, which I think would definitely not be good with still an unsolved case. So I definitely think it did well with that.
Do you know about Lisa Lam, Sam?
No.
Okay, you don't know? I wrote up a small blurb about Lisa Lam. So first off, this is a summary. And if you want more detailed story, check out like That's Why We Drink podcast, which is my favorite podcast of all time. Episode 11, they talk about this case. BuzzFeed Unsolved does a whole video of it. And then also you can just like look it up and search it up on the internet. You can find what happened. But on February 19th, 2013, the body of Elisa Lam was found in the water tank on the top of the Stay on Main hotel, which was originally called Cecil Hotel. She had been a guest at the hotel and was reported missing by her parents on February 1st. Her body was only found after guests complained about water pressure and the color. First off, the color change.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That I'd be traumatized.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to bottle water for the rest of my life.
And that hotel in general has a seedy past.
It does. I think I looked it up and it's like 19 people have died there.
I think it was the Night Stalker, the serial killer. He stayed there. It's just not a good place. And it's on Skid Row. So the sketchiest place of LA. So
yeah, wasn't the Hearst Hotel on Skid Row too?
Yeah, it's like basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But the reason why this whole case got really popular is because the last video seen of Lisa Lam was her on that elevator. And the weird thing is that she gets in, looked like she spooked out, and then she looks out again, and then she tries to close the elevator door for like 2 minutes and 30 minutes. She tried to close it, but she can't close it. And then finally she leaves the elevator and never is seen alive. Many people think that Lisa Lam had suffered from a bipolar episode. Other people argue that the video had been tampered with before making it public, think that there was someone in the video itself that caused her harm. And other people think that it may have been a ghost or something haunting her. What do you think? Do you have any theories about what happened to Lisa Lam?
I don't know. I do, I'm not sure. It did look it could have been doctored. I mean, and that's something we'll never know, but it definitely was very suspicious with the way the elevator wasn't closing and she was looking around like she was being followed or heard or seen something. I honestly don't know. I can't say, I'm into ghosts, but I can't say a ghost would murder somebody. So I tend to lean it's not that. Could be some kind of, manic or bipolar. I haven't dealt with that, so I don't want to speak too much on that. I'm not sure how that would make somebody act. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know if maybe she got herself in there and into the water tank. That is very possible, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a very creepy situation. And I've seen the videos and they are so bizarre.
They're really creepy. I honestly kind of feel like though I don't know. Once again, this is an unsolved case. I'm not a police officer. Yeah. I don't know anything. I don't know. I get a feeling that someone in the hotel murdered her.
Right. And that would make sense if the video was tampered with for sure.
Yeah. Especially because the water tank is really the lid to the water tank. If I remember right, in the video I watched, they said that it was super heavy. Yeah. It was almost impossible to open for her weight and size to open.
For her to be able to hold it open and climb in.
Yeah. She had to be like the Hulk or something. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do it. I will never look at water the same way if I was ever at the Cecil Hotel. No, but yeah, no, thank you. Although
I can imagine being one of the guests there and being like, hey, my water's a little discolored, and then finding out it was because there was a dead body in the water tank. I would die.
Oh yeah. I wonder if they told them. They had to tell them, right?
Yeah, legally they probably have to
show up and they would have to know something was going on.
Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah.
Cheapy goobies. Ew. But I don't know. I really like the fact that they made Aline Warren, who was basically Lisa Lam. They didn't make it to a fan fiction. I also like the fact that like you just still don't really know what happened, but you kind of like get a feeling that maybe the ghosts were too much for her and she kind of had the same powers that Chrissy. Although I don't know about you, the one thing I really didn't like about this, about Lisa Warren, was the fact that like, you know, she had the blog and I kind of feel like it didn't flow into the story very well.
Right. They just didn't really fit. It's like, okay, like you're getting a little bit of her thoughts, but it really doesn't play too much into the plot and the storyline. So yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I kind of felt like in some ways it maybe would have been better if they were maybe just like investigating her death and it was just all her.
Right. That would make more sense because they seen and dealt with many different ghosts. It wasn't just her. She actually had a pretty small role in the book.
Yeah, because I don't think you see her really towards the end of the book.
Yeah.
You see her like a little bit. It would have been more interesting if she was like a main plot point. But I guess like she's the reason why they went there.
True.
One thing I absolutely love is found family. I love found family, except I don't read fantasy novels, so it's really hard for me to get it. And I I definitely loved this found family of the friends. Like you had Chrissy, you had Chase, Emerline.
I think they called her Emma.
Yeah. And then Kiki. I absolutely loved Kiki. She is me in the book because she's scared and I love her.
Yeah, she was such a fun character. And I just think it made it so relevant to talking about YouTube and TikTok and things of that nature. I really love that aspect of it.
Did you have a favorite character?
I think Chrissy for me, just because she could see things and experience things, and I'm such a paranormal girl, so I'm just always fascinated when I read that, fiction or not, about those type of characters. So I think for me, Chrissy.
No, I was more like, not really favorite character, but I kind of like, I'm like Chase a lot. I'm very much a rule follower. Like we have rules for a reason. We have things we need to do. I would have been ripped if Emma was that late. Was it Emma? Yeah, it was Emma.
No, I think it wasn't Kiki.
No, it was Kiki.
Yeah, because that'd be me.
But listen, when anybody's late for anything, I get super frustrated. I'm just like, yes, Chase is my spirit animal in all of this. Now, granted, I mean, he had some character flaws, but he was definitely
he was trying to get like that YouTube play button.
That 1 million followers.
He would have sacrificed someone. He didn't care. Like,
listen, I will sacrifice people for this podcast.
Why are you looking at me?
Are you the weak link? Are we bringing Trina on? She's gonna
wow. I feel this.
Love you.
I'll be the ghost in the background.
Just on the podcast.
Yes. Oh, we could be a paranormal podcast. I'll be the ghost.
Y'all can go. I went to one haunted house when I was younger and I cried and I said never again.
Like a real haunted house or like a haunted house and someone jumps out?
Like a haunted house and someone jumps out.
Oh, so I went on one of those before and I have like it's like flight or fight.
Yeah.
I learned right there and then I'm a fighter and I punch.
Oh no.
I punched someone in the, like, I'm really very short. I'm 4'11". So I punched them in the chest because I'm very short, but I got kicked out. So I've learned my lesson.
I love you. Listen, I'm not a fight or a flight. I'm a freeze.
Yeah, I was just like, you're a freeze.
I'm like, oh no.
I'm just a screamer. I just scream. When we go to those, like I can go to a real haunted place and I'm fine. But those haunted houses where like actual people, even though I know they can't touch me, I literally close my eyes, make my husband walk in front of me, grab a hold of him, and that's it. Yes. He's like, open your eyes. Like, look what's going on. I'm like, nope. Yes. I don't want to.
Yes, that's me 100%. My husband learned early on, don't take me to scary things. I will cry and I will dig my nails into him.
Wow.
You can ask him. I've done it before.
I want to go with you, Sam, so that way I can just ditch you in the middle and run.
No, this is how I sacrifice you.
Oh, that's me. Oh my goodness. But to get on back on track, besides the murdering, the sacrificing, did you like the way that they did Chrissy's gifts and how they explained it?
Yeah, I think for how the book was going and it being YA, yeah, I don't think I had any issues with that because I read horror. So it's hard for me to like compare because I know it's like a whole YA horror and the other stuff I read is not YA at all.
Yeah.
So, and then, actual paranormal things. So going into it, I try to remember, this is YA. It's going to be written a certain way. I think keeping that in mind, I think how she was written and her abilities, I didn't have a problem with it. I liked it.
I feel like it was pretty reader friendly. Like you didn't need much explanation. You kind of just understood how it worked. Right. And then with like little details here and there about how she blocks it out made like the most sense, especially when like they came onto the hotel and she started having those like large emotions and reactions to it. And then her putting on the multiple hats to close it out is like, okay, well, it's obviously her head that is I guess her antenna. I don't know. Because it makes a big deal when Bram shows up and he quiets all the noises. And I think that was the big piece, and why we were trying to be like, the book was trying to write it as if like you need to trust Bram because he's the one who quiets her down. I didn't trust him from the second I met him.
Oh no,
but
at all.
but I think that's how it was written, was that he quiets the voices, he makes her calm, she's very attracted to him, so obviously he has to be the good guy, air quotes.
Okay, listen, I feel like they could have done that a little bit better because we all knew that was Bram. We all knew.
Right.
Like
That's what I was gonna
charismatic.
say. I guessed that twist very, very early on. I'm like, it's always gonna be the nice guy or the random stranger. Like,
and they gave
that
him an
wasn't a
Australian
shock.
accent, trying to be like, oh, Americans love Australian
Right.
accents. They're obviously not gonna pick him.
I would fail for that. I feel like first, well, okay, listen, stranger danger. She wakes up in a strange place. You know, she's in a hotel and like a not safe hotel, and the stranger comes in. He's like, "Do you want to go get some pizza?" First off, stranger danger. But me personally, I love pizza. Pizza's my favorite meal of the day, and I love Australian accents. So I'm murdered. Like I'm done because he's like Ted Bundy. He's very charismatic, and I'm like, okay. I mean, like as long as I get some pizza, I guess I'm fine. That's some murder.
The only twist that caught me off guard is I never put him with the internet stalker.
Oh yeah, me either. That was a big twist.
I got that, I would say, once they were up on the roof. And then it just kind of clicked. Because when he called her Ghost Girl, I was like, yep, that makes sense. I was like, that makes sense why they put that in the beginning, because they never really talked about that anymore. And it was just kind of a little thing of information in the beginning that didn't really fit in with anything else. So it did kind of make that come full circle. So I did like that twist.
That was
for sure.
Probably the only thing that shocked me. The creepy elevator scene where like she was like staring down that ghost kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely was very visual, like 'cause I'm a visual reader too. So yeah, when she's talking about the blood pouring down, and I just kept thinking of like The Shining, and then with all the blood, those bloody scenes, that's what was flashing through my mind.
Yeah. A thing I wish they did with Bram though, and I feel like it would have worked a little better if they actually made the hotel owners more like, I guess, shady, and they made it seem like they were the murderers or something like that. Or even if Bram like acted like he was attacked or something like that, that would have made the shocking reveal that he was this bad guy the whole time.
Yeah, they tried to like point at the hotel owners pretty early on, and they kind of dropped it.
Yeah.
Picked it up a little bit and then dropped it again, and it really had no reason to be there.
Right. Yeah, they definitely could have went further with that and spun it differently for sure.
Yeah. I also really like the fact that it felt like in some ways like a YouTube video in some ways, because like it's very fast paced. It has this humor in it, but it's like super fast, super actiony. But I also like that each character kind of like splits up on their own and then they come back together. Also, I'm going to say right now, Emma's really stupid about leaving cameras out and about. Like I was screaming when she's
dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. I'm like, look where you're at. Like, what would make you think that's a good idea?
Read the room.
Read the room. Read the room. Oh my gosh. I was like, the minute that they like left the cameras out, I'm like, they're gone. They're gone.
Exactly. She's like, oh, no one can see these. And I'm like, yes, they can. There's probably someone watching you right now.
Cameras in the hotel watching you set up your cameras.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I also like the fact that they all go to like random like rooms. Who was it? Emma gets her like tarot cards read.
Yes.
And like, I just love the like random rooms they're trying to get through to like find their stuff or reconnect. The only thing I felt like that I really liked was how Bram died. I was like, yeah, girl power.
Yes.
In some ways, though, I wish that we got more information, though, on how or why Bram quiets her. Why do you think that he quiets her?
I don't know. I mean, he's psychotic, but it would be no reason to like be able to quiet her brain down unless he's always been psychic, because he talks about how he is psychic or has like psychic powers. Maybe he thought that like a part of his psychic abilities was he was going to be able to see the girls that he killed, so they would be with him forever, and that it wasn't working.
And the fact that he's still with her in the end of the book.
Yes, I hated that. I was like, no, don't leave it like that. Like he should be burning in hell.
Yes, he's so creepy. You know what remind me of? Have you ever seen American Horror Story?
You know, I haven't watched that, and I really need to. I keep hearing how great it is, but no, it's not something I watch.
Believe it or not, the scary cat of the group has seen it. Like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's a part where a character is gets in a fight with another character, and he's standing outside the window watching them put up like a Christmas tree. That's how I feel Bram is. Just sitting there
Oh,
watching them
that's
like a creep.
creepy.
Seriously.
That
like,
is very creepy.
But how do you think Aline Warren died? Because we don't really get that
I
question.
know, they didn't. I wish they would have kind of touched on that more because it obviously wasn't him. That had nothing to do with him. And they kind of touched on maybe that one entity she saw in the elevator when she started talking about, is that the last face that she saw before she died? That elevator game that they played, like it said that she played that. Like, I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of setup for no give.
Right. Yeah, they gave details and then like never followed up.
You know what? I looked it up. That elevator game does exist.
Does
Does
it
it
really?
Yeah.
really? Oh
Yeah.
God.
So Sam, get ready.
I see.
No.
I love like paranormal stuff, but I will never play those games.
Listen,
I don't wanna know
do
what
Bloody
happened.
Mary in the mirror. I don't do elevator games. Like,
No,
Yeah.
because what if it's
Right.
true? I don't want to find out.
I'm not willing to mess with the unknown or the
No.
dead or anything like that. I don't play games with them.
Not on that
No.
level.
Ouija
no,
boards, no, thank you.
Yeah. No, my mom's Mexican. I would get smacked in the back head with a sandal if I picked up a Ouija board. Like, no, thank you.
You get the chancla.
I would. I would get yelled at.
Yeah, I will not. I will say I did play it once when I was like 12, which was so stupid. And it did move by itself and it scared the crap out of me so bad. I don't know why I did that. I was like, I'm so dumb. I tell my kids all the time, and I will not put anything like Ouija board decor in my house because I hate that they sell it as a game too, because I'm like, that is real.
Or you just ate no.
Don't play it.
Oh my God. I have a Ouija board story. I didn't play it. So in college, my friends, they want to play with the Ouija board. I left the room because I was like, I'm not doing it. I don't want to be around it. I'm done. So I went to my other friend's room and they were screaming in the other room. They came over and I asked them what happened. One of our friends, he asked them a question and all they got was death, DA. And they all were joking around thinking that like someone else did, whatever. Well, next day he gets into a car accident. He didn't die. We got into a car accident. And I'm not saying that that's the reason why, but I'm going to take that.
That's too big of a coincidence.
Yeah,
No, thank you.
No.
That's a big negative for me.
No.
That's a big negative for me. A week later, me and my roommate were driving down the hill and our brakes gave out. We crashed in the car in front of us, but it wasn't like a serious accident at all. But yeah, that's another sign for me to we don't touch.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. I had a friend who her son turned 13 and she got like the hotel and he had like 10 friends and they had their own room and she was right next door, but she was like, oh yeah, they're just playing the Ouija board. And I'm like, no. 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 Oh my gosh, those things. Yeah, not a game.
Well, I had a teacher, she was a medium, and she told me, because I used to talk to her about ghost questions, and she told me that with a Ouija board, you're opening up a door and you don't know who you're gonna get, and you don't know who's gonna stay, and that has freaked me out. And I'm like,
oh
never,
yeah,
you don't touch them.
well, so I have an older brother. He passed away when he was a baby, so I obviously never met him. And when I played the Ouija board with my cousin, it came through and was telling me it was my older brother, and I just knew. I was like, that no. I was like, absolutely not. And I was like, I am done. I was like, this is freaky. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No. And you just don't know what you're communicating with. And like, demons and stuff are going to lie and tell you they're good. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't mess around with anything paranormal or anything like that. Like I've heard stories about like skinwalkers calling like for help in like the wood. No.
Oh God, yeah. Any skinwalker like story I hear just makes my skin crawl.
Have you ever been on like Appalachian TikTok? Where they're like, don't whistle in the woods if something like screams. Don't go.
I don't like the woods anyway. So no, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely not. It's so funny because I've had experiences, like paranormal experiences, like since I was young. And my oldest daughter, when she was little, she would like talk to things that weren't there. And it's like, I feel like it's me because every house we go to, my husband's like, no, I've never experienced anything. I'm like, so am I haunted? Like, what is going on? But like, I was scrolling through TikTok and this girl was talking and she's like, if you ever hear your name being called in your house and like no one's there, it's like called a mimic, and like you're not supposed to respond because you're like inviting their energy in. And then right after I heard that, like literally the next day, my daughter comes up the stairs and she's like, did you call me? And I was like, no. I was like, what the hell? Oh, it would creep me out. I was like, oh, God.
You don't see it, but me, Sam, instantly cringed. We both cringed. We're like, oh no. This is why I am not having kids because the kids scare me. Like if I
I'm telling you.
if my kid came up to me and was like, "Mommy, I heard a man talking," I'd be like, "Adoption. That's it." We're
Just
getting
get
rid
rid
of
of the whole
you.
kid. It's fine.
Yeah, restart.
I'm telling you, I've been reading like creepy kid books and I'm like
Ugh.
side-eyeing my children and I'm like, There's just a
No.
whole different creep factor when it comes to your kids. But yeah, my oldest, I remember we were in the kitchen and I was like making a bottle. Like she was literally like 11 months old.
Mm.
And she starts giggling and says hi. And I look over thinking she's talking to me, but she's looking at the doorway of the
Ew.
kitchen. And I literally instantly got chills. And I'm like, who are you talking to?
Mhm.
And then she giggled again and waved and said, bye-bye. And I was like, hell no.
Sage the house.
Throw
I
crystals in the
was
bathtub.
so terrified. I was just instantly terrified. I'm like, who is she talking to? Like, what the
Oh my
heck?
god. Do you know how there's like commercials about like kids yelling in the supermarket and it's like birth control? We just need a commercial being like kids talking to ghosts, birth control.
Exactly. Read a creepy kid book, birth control. I'm telling you.
Exactly. I will never. No. Oh, I have so much more to talk about. Like black eye kids. Ooh,
Oh,
that makes me want to throw up.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, those I can't. I love paranormal stuff, but there's like I draw a line somewhere, and that is where.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Oh,
But, oh my god. Is there anything you want to add in, Sam?
No, I don't have anything except now I'm rethinking having children.
I'm telling you, it's the right choice.
Let-
So, like, whenever someone comes up to you and they're like, "Why don't you have kids?" You're gonna be like, "Ghosts."
like
There you
hello.
go.
Here, just
Hello?
read like baby teeth or the perfect child, and that is gonna stop you.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm,
I'm
mm-mm,
rethinking life plans now. Like,
mm.
nope,
No, thank you. No, thank you.
dogs forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for babies.
But even then, like when your dog stares at something that's not there, yeah, not cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
No.
we don't have animals, but I've seen the like TikTok videos, and they're like, my dog's just like scratching at the wall. I'm like, the dog needs to go to the shelter now.
Oh god.
What's going on?
I think I showed you the video, but one time I was in my bedroom and in this bedroom we're in right now. But I was like, my dog was looking at the mirror. I was like, what's going on? And I was on TikTok. And do you know like the TikTok filter where it's like you can see movement? I
Yeah.
turned that on and there
Oh
was
god.
I have it still. There was a man like in the mirror, like a figure of I'm assuming it's a man.
We're
in
burning the
mirror.
house down
No,
tonight.
I cleansed.
No, I would
I
poop my
put my books
pants.
in
There's
there.
no way.
I cleansed the mirror though. I cleansed the mirror. I looked at. I was like, "How do you cleanse a mirror?" So I cleansed it, and then I did the camera thing, and nothing came up. It was the
Mirrors
weirdest thing
are
ever.
freaky though.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mirrors are just in general. So I heard once, and it was like, you don't want to have a mirror facing your bed. They're supposed to be like portals, and it can make you have, like bad dreams and stuff. So I will never have a mirror facing my bed ever since I
Again, you
heard
can't
that.
see it, but Morgan has a mirror in her room and she just like behind her to see where the mirror was facing.
And it's kind of, not really. Is it facing my bed? Not really.
The end of it.
Okay, I'll move it over a little bit. You
Oh
just,
god.
you just thought we both turned and looked. Well, I also heard that you shouldn't have mirrors facing each other either. Like
Right.
one mirror. Yeah.
They do that in like I forget what it's called, but you'll go in like a small room and there'll be mirrors on all like but one side, and you just stare into it. And
Mm.
apparently it puts you in like a trance, and you'll start to like receive messages through the mirrors. No, thank
Have
you.
you ever
But-
like tried to count how many mirrors you would see, like how many reflections till like it kind of stops?
No,
I've
because
done
I'm
that.
not psychotic.
I
Oh,
was just like,
no.
how many times does it reflect itself?
Terrified if I'm like looking in the mirror while I'm walking. Like sometimes, like in the night, I'll go get water or something like that. I'm terrified of looking in the mirror at night because I'm afraid that I'll look in the mirror and I'll move and the person in the mirror won't.
That is terrifying.
I'm
So
terrified. That is one of my deep.
Listen, listen.
That's
I
a
love
new
you.
fear unlocked now.
I love you to death, but I'm going to say one thing. If I wake up tonight with a nightmare, I'm crawling into your bed and I'm kicking you out.
How dare you?
I told you were the correct sacrifice.
Rude. But anyways, I don't know. Do you have any final thoughts? You guys have any final thoughts about the book?
I've had some problems with it, just like storyline wise, like
Mhm.
plot wise, because I figured things out so quickly. And some of the characters, like, I don't know, when we never really truly found out like how the original girl passed away and just things got dropped. So I would say like 3.5. I enjoyed it, but there was still, it left me kind of wanting a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked it. So I like, even though things didn't necessarily were well developed. Some characters kind of felt like had the same voice. I actually like I enjoy the ride. And if I enjoy the ride, some of that stuff isn't really important to me. So I rated it 4 stars because I really did like it. I felt like it was a fun read. It was like a fluffy horror novel. Is that a thing? A fluffy horror novel? I don't know. It's a new thing.
Genre.
Yeah. So I really liked it. 4 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, I gave it 4. I think a lot of the stuff that didn't wrap up, I just tried to remind myself it's YA, and teenagers reading that probably aren't going to question those things.
Yeah.
So again, I enjoyed the ride. I thought it was very fun, just the right amount of spooky. As soon as I finished, I literally put it down, and now my 14-year-old's reading it. So, so I think for like a YA book, it was one of the better YA books I read. So I definitely think it's good for young adults who like horror, or if you're an adult and just wanting to dip your toes in, I think it's perfect for that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really loved it. And if you guys are this far ahead and you want to read it, go check it out. It's really good. Anyways, do you want to plug your TikTok or any social media where people can find you?
Yeah, so I'm just on TikTok at Crack the Spine. I've tried to do the whole Bookstagram thing, but I homeschool 4 kids. I can't keep up with that as well as the TikTok. So really my most consistent is my TikTok. I try to post multiple times a week. So, and it's mostly horror, but I am a psychological thriller girl as well.
Our Instagram is growing, but it is hard. So we completely understand.
It's a struggle bus.
It is very a struggle. And also, I was going to tell you this early. Fun fact: when we were choosing our podcast names, we were thinking about Crack the Spine.
Were you?
Yeah,
Yes.
we were. But then Sam,
Listen, I don't. Okay.
Sam, I said that was my idea, and Sam said it sounds like a BDSM thing.
Yeah, it could be, I suppose.
So I'm sorry, Sam, you're all red. But anyways, we're Just One More Page. You can find us on TikTok. We're Just One More Page podcast.
Yep.
You can also find us on Instagram at Just One More Page Official. We have a YouTube channel. And if you do like this episode and you do want to support us, feel free to rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Do you have anything else to say, Sam?
Yeah, if you're listening to us on Apple, go ahead and follow, because Apple actually gives you notifications every time we post a new episode. We post a new one every single Sunday. Next week, we are reading Love Me by Ashley Ann Rostick.
Oh, why did you do your phone?
Sorry.
You got
Sorry.
excited. Yeah, okay. Okay. So if you don't know, Love Me is a 3rd book by Ashley Ann Rostick, a book that was recommended to us by one of our TikTok followers. And it's I'm blushing. It's spicy. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, thank you for listening to this podcast. I don't like spicy books.
Thank you, Trina, for coming on to this. We had a lot of fun.
Thank you. It was not painful at all.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We're
it was
glad.
not painful. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next week in which we read spicy books. Okay, bye.
Bye.